Welcome to the Zombie Story Zone, the place where chilling tales of survival, horror, and the undead come to life. In today's story, we dive deep into a thrilling, high-stakes world where a deadly zombie outbreak strikes a submerged submarine, trapping its crew with no way out. As the infection spreads, the crew must fight for their lives and find a way to stop it before it destroys everything. Will they survive the relentless threat? Or will the submarine become their tomb? Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss one of our thrilling zombie stories. Share this terrifying journey with your friends, and let's grow our community together. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think about today's story. Let us know how we can improve and bring you even more exciting content. Now, sit back, grab some popcorn, and get ready for an unforgettable ride into the heart of the apocalypse. Enjoy the story!
From the graveyards to the streets, hear the whispers low. Every story's a thrill, come and let your courage show. Final flight!
The USS Dominion descended into the cold, silent depths of the Pacific Ocean, and like its military counterparts, this vessel's mission was classified. Few knew of the biological experiment being conducted below deck. But everyone on board could feel the weight of secrecy bearing down on them. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Hayes paced the control room, her sharp gaze scanning the readouts. She was used to pressure, but this was different. The lives of everyone aboard depended on the success of this covert operation. In the research lab, Dr. Elena Vasquez prepared for the trial that would change everything. She adjusted the glowing vial in her hand. It contained a serum and untested, unstable concoction that could revolutionize human capabilities. Her fingers trembled slightly as she held it, knowing that this serum was dangerous, but also the key to her career. "This is it," Vasquez murmured, her voice barely a whisper. Petty Officer Blake Carter stood still on the medical table, awaiting the injection. His solid build and mental fortitude made him the perfect candidate for the experiment. As the needle pierced his skin, Carter tensed if there was no turning back now. Inside the control room, Vasquez's assistant, Dr. Mendez, monitored Carter's vitals. Everything seemed normal at first, but then Carter's pulse spiked. His body convulsed violently, the serum taking a disturbing effect. "What's happening?" Mendez cried, his voice panicked. Carter's eyes snapped open, no longer human. The veins in his neck bulged, and a savage growl erupted from his throat. His mouth opened wide, revealing sharp, animalistic teeth. He broke free of his restraints in a burst of strength. The first medic was bitten in seconds. The infection spread. "Seal the medical bay now," Sarah barked over the intercom. Chaos erupted as the crew attempted to contain the infected. Sarah immediately took charge, organizing the survivors and initiating quarantine procedures. "We've got a problem," Marcus Hull, the chief engineer, reported. "The infected are overwhelming the lower decks. They're tearing through bulkheads like paper." In the command center, Sarah's mind raced. If they reached the control room, Vasquez entered, her face pale. "There's only one way to stop this. If we can get a sample of Carter's blood, I can reverse the infection, but we need to go into the infected zone." Sarah stared at her, then nodded. "We're going in." Sarah, Marcus, Vasquez, and two other crew members Jake Turner and Kowalski prepared for the dangerous mission. Armed with rifles and grenades, they ventured into the lower levels, the red emergency lighting casting everything in an eerie glow. The halls were eerily quiet, but the air was thick with tension. They moved slowly, cautiously. The silence was broken by a soft groan echoing from the shadows. Then another, and another. The infected were close. The group turned a corner, and a horde of monstrous creatures lunged at them. Sarah barked orders, and the team opened fire. "Fall back, fall back," Sarah shouted as the group retreated, trying to reach the central compartment where Carter had taken shelter. Carter, now fully transformed into a nightmarish creature, stood in the middle of a flooded chamber. His eyes were wild, his body grotesque. Vasquez moved quickly, holding the syringe steady as she approached Carter. He snarled and lunged at her, but Sarah intercepted, stabbing him in the chest. The rest of the team followed suit, fighting the infected as they reached Carter's body. Vasquez successfully extracted a sample of his blood, but not without cost. Kowalski was bitten in the chaos. "We've got what we need," Sarah said, breathless. "Let's get back to the safe zone." Back in the quarantine zone, the survivors began to argue. Kowalski, injured and bitter, questioned Sarah's decision to risk their lives for a serum. "This is madness," he spat. "We're all going to die down here for a damn experiment." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "We're already dying. If we don't stop this, the infection spreads to the surface, millions could die." As the heated argument continued, the sound of pounding on the doors drew their attention. The infected had breached the outer perimeter. "Positions," Sarah ordered, rallying the crew. The infected swarmed the lab, and the crew fought desperately to hold them back. Sarah and Marcus were at the forefront, guns blazing, as Vasquez worked on the antidote. "We don't have much time," Vasquez said frantically. "The cure is almost ready, but we need to release it through the ventilation system. I can't do it alone." "Then we'll do it together," Sarah said, her voice steely. With Kowalski, injured and struggling, taking the rear, Sarah and Marcus fought their way to the control room. The infected were everywhere, but they pushed forward, knowing that the fate of everyone aboard rested on them. As they reached the control room, Kowalski was tackled by the infected. He held them off as long as he could, allowing Sarah to activate the antidote release. With a final, strained breath, Kowalski fell, but his sacrifice allowed Sarah to succeed. The antidote spread throughout the submarine. Slowly, the infected began to collapse, their bodies twitching before they fell still. Weeks passed. The USS Dominion surfaced, battered but victorious. Sarah and Vasquez stood together on the deck, looking at the horizon. "We did it," Vasquez said softly, but Sarah could see the weight of the past few weeks in her eyes. "It's not over," Sarah replied. "We stop this now, or it starts again." Together, they knew they had to ensure that the world would never suffer the horrors.